Hey, I thought I'd go through some songs of Liz Phair, talk a little bit about her style. Really an interesting guitar player, great rhythm sense, interesting sound, a lot of good tunes that she put out. First album, most famous one. So I'm going to talk about two of those, namely Divorce Song and also Explain It to Me, basically because both of them have are capoed at the first fret, so it's nice to put them together. A couple things about her sound in general. She's got a distinctive guitar sound. It's hard to capture. It's electric. The way I've got it set up to try to simulate her sound is an equalizer that makes it sound a bit like an acoustic, a lot of chorus, and some delay as well. That's part of her sound. So now, another thing that's characteristic of her playing is really two things. One is she uses some really unusual chord shapes where she likes to let open strings ring. Even if she's fretting, as we'll see, high up on the neck, she'll let open strings ring. Another important part of her playing is her emphasis on the low notes. A lot of songs that she's doing really work on the lower end of the register, which is kind of unusual for a pop singer, a pop guitarist, as she was back in the 90s when she first appeared, to be working on the low strings as the rhythm, along with that chorus sounding effect. So a couple things that we'll pick up as we proceed. So the first song, we'll talk about Divorce Song. Really pretty simple. The chords we're going to use, again, remember putting the capo on the first fret. Just going to use a C, slide it up, again using all 6 strings. It's a D, but we're going to let the E's ring as well. So it really makes it kind of like a D sus2 by letting the E's in there. Then here's another example of her playing. We're going to throw a G shape in there, but up at the 5th fret, well, excluding the capo, makes it an A. So think about a G here. We slide it up, and we've got ourselves an A, but we're going to let everything ring. Now, if you put all the notes together, that's really actually what you could call an A11th. And then back to the G. So pretty simple progression that she goes through the verses. When it comes to the chorus, sorry, cat needs a little petting. When it comes to the chorus, we're to go through an F, a C, and a G. But as we're going to see, we're going to focus on, again, the low notes. And then the last part, at the very end of the song, when kind of things break loose, a harmonica comes in, a second guitar comes in, and we get a bit of chaos. And it's kind of hard to hear her part, but I'll walk through the basics of that. Now, taking the low notes seriously, as Liz Phair does, look at what we're doing here. An F, Then we can do a C. A C has got C, E, and a G. Usually we play just the open G. We're going to catch an extra one. Remember, it's fretted. Sorry, it's capoed, so we're up a step. But this is a G, essentially. Think of it as a G. So just looking at the low notes. F, C, G. Now when it comes to the song Explain It To Me, again we've got to have our capo on the first fret. I'm going to show you what the chords look like afterwards, because it's really working off of an A shape and a D, with what look like really unusual, bizarre chords, but we'll see how you can make sense of them. Part of the thing that's confusing, so you can't see it as easily, is because of the capo. So we're going to move things up to the 10th and 11th. Going to grab these two notes and let things ring. Just let everything else ring. And then we're going to have, essentially, let your third finger just do a little walk down from the third string to the fourth string to the fifth string, and then we're going to use our thumb, and the last note we're going to get is at the 11th fret on the sixth string. So just hammering on with that third finger, letting it walk down the chords, walk down the strings. Last note there. Now after, and that's basically the verses and the chorus. Now there's a little bit extra thrown in. After the first verse, the first chorus, we're going to get a little movement back and forth between this note that with our thumb on the 11th down to the 9th. Ending back up with that shape with this finger, the third finger again on the fifth string, 12th fret. Then the next time when we finally get to the phrase, explain it to me, we're going to go through that same little movement back and forth with the thumb, and then we're going to get this extra little bit. We're going to have this shape, so our third finger on the third string, and then we're going to grab And as we're going to see when we look at what the chord shapes actually are, if we slide things down, ignoring the capo, what we've really got there there, if we just slide it down and think about what we've got our D, and then we've got these strings that make it a D chord, and it's just a suspension. If we played it there, that would be a D sus4. So really, once we start looking at it, there are familiar chord names, just unfamiliar voicings. And as I said, that's part of her characteristic sound, is to let open strings, unexpected open strings ring, and the emphasis on the low notes. All right, so let's go through the different parts of that song. So taking the capo off and just looking at what it looks like, think about an A up at the 9th fret. Think about the notes involved in an A. We got A, C sharp, and E. Here's a way to do it. E, A, E, C sharp. What's that? F sharp, A, use the open D, or fret it at the 12th. What do you got there? That's a D chord. Let the high E ring, and it's a D sus2. So we're moving essentially from a version of an A to a version of a D. Step down, that's the A. There's the full A up at the 9th fret. So we got kind of an A, a D sus2, plain old A, then we move down to here, and we got a complicated version of an E, and then we throw in this, and what do we got? Look at the notes. D, A, D, A, D, E, A, E. D, A, D, E. That's what we had before. D, A, E makes it a sus4. So essentially we're just using those chords.